Good evening, Not Moved podcast. Well, we made it. We made it through the first round. Going to cover the Bass Pro Shops night race at Bristol. I'm Chief 316. Welcome again. I decided to reach out to a friend of mine who was boots on the ground this week. I have Chelsea with me. Chelsea, welcome to the Not Moved podcast, and thank you for being on with me.
Glad to be here.
Yes, thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to recap this weekend's race. This was a cutoff race for the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. It was the Bass Pro Shops night race at Bristol. I got to say, overall, before we unpack this was probably one of the best races I've seen in a very long time at Bristol. I got to say, this, as far as a playoff cutoff race, you had so many different things moving from left to right as far as the points go. It was insane. I wish y'all could watch it a little bit more with me. One day we'll probably make that a thing where I simulcast a race. So, anyways, let's go ahead and unpack it. So, first off, Chelsea, I gotta say, what was your overall experience at the race from start to finish? Because I think you started when you and I started texting and communicating back and forth. You were kind of at the driver entrance outside the track, right?
Yes, there's a gate in between the pedestrian garage entrance and
Mm.
like where the golf carts come in, and you can just stand there and wait for drivers. So that's
Oh,
pretty much
okay.
what we did all day Friday.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay. So did you guys go to the Xfinity race at all or no?
We did not. We
Okay.
usually just stay out there and get drivers autographs and stuff like that, and then we
Hmm.
usually just do the cup race.
Gotcha. Okay. And you said in show prep that you said you and your husband, I'm presuming, were sitting up on the backstretch. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, that's really cool. So I got to say, one of the bucket list items I have is to not go to is to go excuse me is to go to Bristol Motor Speedway. So that way, moving forward, I honestly one day we'll make it work. But we got to just work on it a little bit. Sorry about that. So,
I'm gonna tell
anyways,
you
let's
right now, dress in layers.
do what?
Dress in layers because April was freezing cold. I mean, we got out there Friday, it was 39 degrees.
Yeah,
And then the next
yeah,
day it was like in the 70s.
really. Really?
Yes.
Wow. I didn't think it was going to be that cold. And I guess that explains for the tire issues that went on.
Uh,
So now, as far as the first things first, Christopher Bell won that race on the last restart. I mean, just completely took control with 4 laps to go. I got to say, I did not expect that. I thought it was honestly going to be Carson Hocevar for his
Me
first
too.
win, but I sat there and I was like, man, he's moving the way that things were shaking up at the end. I mean, you had pit strategy all night, cars honestly pitting at the most inopportunistic times, but honestly benefiting themselves, at least from my perspective. I sat there and thought, you know, a green flag stop at Bristol is really not the way that I would go about it. But hey, it ended up working out. These guys were able to unlap themselves and honestly make it work. One thing I will say next is about the tires. Goodyear took a major gamble as far as bringing a softer tire. This was similar, very, very similar to the tire back in the spring race of last year when they had the same issues. And all it was a temperature sensitive issue. That's all it
Yes.
was. If it was 5 to 10 degrees warmer, these issues would not have been a thing. So it was actually pretty cool to see how much the smallest degree in temperature affects the handling and the overall grip and tire wear of these cars. Um, One thing I will say, I know Ryan Blaney got the first stage win, but Toyota clearly dominated this race, and Toyota dominated this first round of the playoffs. I mean, they won all 3 races. They led over, I think the last time I counted, it was over 750 laps through the entire first round of the playoffs.
It was a
And I got
lot.
to, yeah, yeah, no, and I gotta say, haven't seen that in ever by a manufacturer. At least that I can remember, unless if we're going back to the old Hendrick days, back when it was Johnson and Gordon dominating in the 2005 to 2010 era. Let's see here. The next thing I had now, I guess if I remember correctly, what happened to Cindric? Like, I know he caught fire towards
I
the
think
end.
the same thing is Barry with the rubber buildup. But
Okay.
what was wild, and I've asked a couple people about this. When Josh Berry caught fire and he's sitting on pit road on fire, why was the caution so late coming out?
I think it was because they weren't, because at least from what I saw on TV was his car was filled with smoke, and they honestly didn't want, he thought he was going to be able to go in there, have the smoke clear out, have them change tires, get the fire out, and keep moving like the rest of the guys did later on that night. But the rubber buildup near his exhaust pipe built up so much near the rocker panels and the headers that it just the cockpit just completely engulfed with smoke, and he couldn't see, couldn't do anything. And then it was a really rough night for Josh Berry. Let's just
It started going down the backstretch. You could just see flames coming out of it before he even hit pit road.
Really.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. I don't remember seeing that in the replay, but no, that's good looking. I thank you for giving that insight. Now, I will say this, and I said this earlier as far as green flag pit stops at Bristol, that stuff normally doesn't happen. So the fact that now you have these single lug nuts for these tires, it's so cool to see that they're actually able to do it and not lose so much time and track position. I think that part right there is a testament to the technology in which the sport is going. I still have my thoughts about it, kind of miss the old 5 lug setup, but hey, I can't really gripe about it. We're still getting good racing.
This is
And
true.
and would you honestly say this is probably one of the best short track races we've seen in recent memory with this new car?
I've been to several Bristol, and I live in an area where I can drive to a lot of tracks. So I've
Mm-hmm.
been to several since the next gen, Bristol, Martinsville, Richmond races.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the better ones that I've seen here recently.
Good. Good.
So
I'm glad
I
to hear
think
that.
Martinsville could be improved with that too.
Yeah, well, my thing about Martinsville is if they can somehow make an adjustment to where they're not shifting every corner, I think that would honestly do a lot better. As far the next thing I saw to kind of go over this, did you realize that all 400 cars sustained some sort of damage?
Yes, I did. And I'm like, hey, you know what? I know that a couple of them are already advanced, but it's helping my driver out some, so we're just gonna roll
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, and you did tell me that you were one of the biggest Martin Truex Jr. fans known to man. So
Yes.
I think that's awesome, and also coincidentally enough, my wife's a Truex fan as well, or was a Truex fan. So that's pretty cool. If I may ask now, did you stick with Chase Briscoe?
I actually went to Tyler Reddick.
Okay, okay, alrighty. So now, how did Reddick end up doing? Did he end up doing all right?
I think he finished, if I remember reading right, 15th. But a lot of cars got trapped a lap down because of the Josh Berry fire.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's the one I guess you could say that you and I probably can agree on as far as NASCAR is concerned. Sometimes they just are so slow at throwing the yellow flag. It's insane to me sometimes.
I can
I
think of a
just
few times. Chicago.
yeah, yeah. Chicago was well, man. You're yeah, back at the street course. I completely get that. That one I looked at it from multiple angles. That car was so buried it wasn't even funny.
I might be a little bit biased because Tyler Reddick probably could have caught SVG and won that race, but just saying.
No, you're fine. Now, the one thing I will say, as far as the last part I saw here, with as far as the drivers are concerned, for individual drivers. So yeah, Josh Berry, first car eliminated. He had 3 straight last place finishes. No driver in the playoff era has ever finished that worse as far as a playoff driver is concerned. That is on record as the worst playoff performance ever. So it sucks because I like Josh Berry. I think he's a good driver. My thing about it is at the end of the day, you've got to show up and perform. And
Yes.
I'll exclude Bristol because I don't think anyone knew what was going on with Bristol. But at the same time, I mean, that's a satellite team of Penske. Penske practically builds those cars. So
I mean, Darlington, I don't know what that was because we were on pit road for that, and I literally was walking down pit road, and it's just caution. I'm like, what just happened? I'm like, the heck did Josh Berry just do?
I gotcha. So little nugget right here. We had 137 laps of caution. In the modern era of NASCAR, that is the most amount of caution laps ever in a cup race.
It was so long. Oh my gosh! And with no cell service, I'm just like, so I can't check anything. I can't check my fantasy. I'm like, what do we do during these caution laps?
Yeah, no, I can understand that part. I can honestly, it's hard to, like, my wife has been with me to two or three races, and yeah, during cautions we're just we kind of get a little bored, a little antsy, but it is what it is. So now that we got this race out of the way and we've got through all of that, Hendrick cars, I gotta actually, before we move on to the next topic, I gotta say the fact that Chase Elliott got wrecked and had to basically wait to see how his fate was going to be determined by other drivers, probably the most nerve-wracking thing as far as the driver's concerned. So
I was really waiting for like a surprise elimination to happen.
I was too, because honestly, I thought Bowman was going to win it for a couple of laps there. He was driving and he knew it was time to go. If that last caution hadn't happened, I don't know where. I honestly don't know. And then Cindric had his issues, which put Chase Elliott bumped up a spot to where it was just between Cindric and Bowman.
Cindric was like, I don't care. I'll get lung cancer. I'm going to advance myself to the next round.
Yeah.
I think our buddies were saying on the 12 radio that they were like, hey, Cindric can't see where he's going, so just be careful around him.
Jesus, that's crazy. So now that we got that moved out of the way, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to look ahead. So now that we've got through the first round, first four have been eliminated. We have 12 drivers left that are still eligible for this Cup championship. So first and foremost, points restart. So you got Hamlin, Byron, Larson, Bell, Blaney, Cindric, or excuse me, not Cindric. Yeah, nope. You have Blaney, then you have Briscoe, then you have Elliott, and then you have Bubba Wallace as who's ahead of the cut line right now. Then you have Cindric, then you have Logano, Chastain, and then the last place in the championship standings right now is Tyler Reddick.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. So I will say this is the craziest thing. It's a cutoff. He's only -3. So those points are very close. So this round is going to be absolutely insane. I think it's going to be close because you have these drivers who, outside of Austin Cindric, who are really statistically running up in the front. I got to say this, as far as where things are sitting right now, unless if they give Tyler Reddick some help, I don't know if he's going to be able to make it out, just because he's been just so inconsistent. Logano has been the same. Chastain is fighting for his proverbial life at this point because he is no different. He will have 2 straight good races and then a complete dud. So I got to say, as far as drivers eliminated at this point, the way things are going, I'm going to say it's probably going to be Logano, Cindric, Bubba, and I'm going to say Chastain.
I agree with you on the Chastain. Bubba, I think, can pull a run.
He's been on a run, so it was weird to see him actually go through a little bit of adversity in a little bit, because I've been talking about this for my last 2 episodes. Bubba Wallace has been on a tear ever since he won at Indy.
Yes.
So I hope he can continue it. He's actually got a pretty decent average finish at Loudon the past 5 races. Mm-hmm. So I think he'll be okay. I mean, the one thing is this round usually it's a change up, because this round you have Loudon, you have Kansas, and then you have the Roval. Usually you would have like Kansas, Talladega, and then the Roval. And I'm a little bit weary on this one because I think this one's going to be a lot closer. And then the true wild card, you're going to have Talladega and Martinsville between 2 weeks of each other. Uh,
It's going to be a cluster. That's what it's going to be.
Yes, and I already have my blood pressure increased by watching my Kansas City Chiefs. I don't need it for racing, but here we go. So
well, my football team's kind of mad this year, so I'm not going to stress about it.
I gotcha.
Leave that for the racing.
Yes, we'll leave it for the racing at this point. So now that we've completed this race, we are on to Loudon, New Hampshire for the first race of the next round. It's the Mobil 1 301 at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. It's at 2:00 Eastern time, just so that way everyone knows. As far as what I'm looking forward to in my predictions, I just want to see, because I'm a Chase Elliott fan. I was, as far as Chevrolet, so I'm a little bit biased when it comes to just Chevrolets in general. I will say this, as long as they can run a clean race, because Toyota's clearly dominated these playoffs so far,
yes.
And Chevy needs to step up. The only Ford I honestly see making any sort of noise is Ryan Blaney. The rest of the Fords do not move me whatsoever. So
my husband will be happy with that opinion.
That's good. And then, so as far as a race winner is concerned, honestly, I think Christopher Bell's going to go on a two race win streak.
I agree.
I just think after the adversity Christopher Bell had a week ago in St. Louis to this week at Bristol, I think he's going to go on a little bit of a tear. That's the thing, is I want to try and not pick Toyotas, but I just can't. They're so damn good right now. And then
don't hit on the Toyotas.
Yeah. So if you had to guess, who would be ones to watch this weekend, or who would be your pick to win?
I was going to agree with you on C. Bell because he's won like the last two
or three, something like that. It's been him, and then I think that, or was it 3 years? Oh yeah, I think it's been two, because the third year
Truex won 23.
Okay, so because it was Almirola, Truex, Bell, and Bell. That's right. So okay, because as much as I will watch this race and pay attention to it, I gotta say, one of my least favorite tracks. I don't know why. I think it's just I have no idea why. It's just, to me, it was always one of the more boring ones to watch.
Now, I used to say that about like Indianapolis when I watched it on TV. After visiting and going there, I have a new outlook on it. So I don't want to pass judgment harshly on Loudon. I'm sure it's probably an amazing track.
Yeah.
I thought the same about Phoenix until I went there last year, and I was blown away by the fan zone and facilities and everything out there. It was like a state fair out there.
Oh, you and I were talking the other day, and you were saying that you guys are going to Vegas. I'm telling you,
yes,
top cream of the crop as far as facilities go, in my opinion, as far as all the tracks I've been to. Mm-hmm. That Neon Garage is insane. It's so much fun.
We will have the VIP passes through Fan Rewards for the Victory Lane photo.
Oh, so that, and the Victory Lane is literally right there in the middle, in between everything. Mm-hmm. So if you go the day before and you watch practice and qualifying and all that stuff, mm-hmm. you can walk around there and walk on Victory Lane.
Ooh,
it's pretty cool.
It'll be our first time out there, so we're looking forward to seeing a new spot.
A lot of fan activation out there. You'll enjoy it, I promise. You'll thank me later. But anyways, I think that wraps this one about up. Do you have anything else that you would like to add that you saw from Bristol this week that I guess I didn't cover?
I would like to add a little tidbit.
Go for it.
Where we were sitting, I know we were like 13 rows up, which isn't that far at Bristol unless you mm-hmm. go back up the stairs to go to the concourse. Mm-hmm. But from where we were sitting, we were in front of Ryan Blaney. I can't remember who was behind Blaney's pit box. Stenhouse and I think Briscoe were within our field of vision. Mm-hmm. When they took those tires off, you could see the cording from the stands. But wow. I feel like the tires this race lasted longer than the ones from the spring race last year.
Really?
But it was also
Okay.
not freezing cold.
True. I mean, yeah, I think if I remember correctly, everybody was in still winter coats, but it was nice and
Yes.
sunny out. It didn't matter. So I think if I remember correctly, I was listening to DBC a little bit ago, and they said, yeah, the only difference between this one and that one was it wasn't 39 degrees. So
Hey, 39 degrees. I mean, we got free pre-race concert passes from the track for being out there in 39-degree weather.
nice. Hey,
They came out to them.
That's why I like SMI. SMI at all their tracks, they take care of their people. They
They were
take
like,
care
"Hey,
of the fans.
you gonna be here tomorrow?" I was like, "Yeah." Well, here you go.
Nice.
Thanks
Nice.
for that.
Well, thank you for sharing that insight as far as what and being able to see it that, because I'll tell you what, I'm betting as far as Bristol goes, there's probably no closer pit road to the stands. So I think that's
Exactly. Except for maybe Indy, because there is the seats on the back side.
yeah, that is true. I keep forgetting they put people out there in the infield on those grandstands there for the cup races.
I didn't know it until I went like last year, and I was like, "Oh, okay. This is where they put all the people for the Indy 500."
That in a full capacity, it's like 265,000 people. So,
I bet you it's
but
a lot worse traffic.
yeah, yeah. Well, well, I guess that wraps up this episode of the Bass Pro Shops Night Race recap. Chelsea, thank you so much for coming on. I do appreciate it.
You're
I
welcome.
thank you for the insight, and hopefully, maybe after your race at Vegas, I'll have you back on and see what you thought about Vegas and see what you saw there.
Well, we'll be at the Roval, Vegas. We'll be at Vegas after Vegas, I do believe. I think it's Vegas, Dega, Martinsville, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
I'll be at those. My husband is actually going to Phoenix.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, hey, I will make sure and keep in touch and see what we can come up with to try and get you on another episode, just so that way we can get some kind of on the what is that term called? I can't even remember right now. On the ground.
In the field.
In the field, boots on the ground. So hey, thank you so much again. My name is Chief 316. Chelsea, thank you again. This is the Not Moved podcast. You have yourselves a good evening on purpose. Not moved.
This non-casual podcast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without the authorized written consent of the Not Moved Podcast Network. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.